Hello. Many of us are at the start of a 4-day weekend, celebrating Queen Elizabeth reaching her Platinum Jubilee. So this week I won't take up much of your time, but have a quick think about how the Queen demonstrates God's love to the nation. Up until the age of 11, our now Queen would have had no idea that this would be the plan for her life. Her uncle was the king during her early years, so the heir to the throne would have been expected to follow through his side of the family. But his abdication in 1936 pushed her father onto the throne. And in 1952, when King George VI died, aged just 56, a young 25-year-old Elizabeth became the ruler of the Commonwealth. Maybe we mainly see the Queen as a figurehead for the country, but there is so much work that goes on that we don't know about or don't see. Getting government documents on a daily basis to review, to weekly meetings with prime ministers, alongside all the visits, like the recent opening of train lines and all sorts of different events to attend, not representing herself, but representing the country. The Queen might have been born into wealth and privilege, not having to worry about the recent increase in fuel costs, though heating a castle must be pretty expensive, not having to cook and clean. But it doesn't mean there aren't struggles. Struggles in various sections of her family life have been well publicised, well beyond what they should have been sometimes. Living as the Queen, she has led much of her life as a sacrifice to the role she has been given, being a loyal servant to the country in a way that I suspect we will not see again. She has had to put aside what might have been her plans for her life at age 25 and become an ambassador for her country. It's well known that the Queen has a strong Christian belief, and this shows in how she deals with people and with her position over so many years. Colossians 3:12 says, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience." If you consider the Queen, I think you can easily apply all those characteristics to her. Since coming to the throne, she has overseen massive changes in the world, with the end to the British Empire, returning the country's independence back to them, overseeing the massive change in the Commonwealth, rebuilding it from a position of authority into a partnership of equality and friendship, allowing countries who no longer wanted to have the Queen as their head to leave without fuss or judgment, to show friendship and support wherever possible. Changes which a couple of generations ago would have been unthinkable and would have suggested weakness became a show of strength and generosity. When seeing the country suffering financially, the monarchy recognised that they too should be contributing to the income and so started paying taxes. Compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. There will always be people who disagree with the structure of the country, that the monarchy is outdated and doesn't fit with the structure of today's society, and the freedom of the country allows them to voice that. But this weekend we don't necessarily celebrate the establishment, but can celebrate someone who has found themselves in a role that they didn't ask for and didn't desire, but has given all they possibly could for a very long time. While we will never know what the life of a king or queen is really like, we too have been called to live a life of sacrifice, of service. 1 Peter 2:9 says, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his wonderful light." As God's chosen people, we are called to serve, take on responsibility. We put any plans we have behind our service to God, with our priority becoming to declare the praise of the one who called us. In serving God, people will see something different in us, something that goes against what much of society thinks. Our show of strength is through compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. As we go into this celebration weekend, we can thank God for the work of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth. Thank him for her work and loyalty to the country. Equally, we can look at how she lives out her Christian life and thank him for her example.